Rashid is once again there. An interesting topic.
Hi, Rashid. What's up?
Today I will start conversation with AI apps. इसमें Maya, are you ready for conversation?
Gotcha. Yeah, yes, absolutely. I'm ready when you are. What's on your mind today?
Yes, of course. I will discuss self-compassion and forgive yourself.
Okay, self compassion and forgiveness. That's good stuff. This is something a lot of people struggle with, honestly. What about it feels important to talk about right now?
Yes, of course. I would like to talk. First of all, let me know what is difference between uh, self-compassion and forgiveness.
Okay, fair question. So, self compassion and forgiveness are related, but they aren't quite the same thing. Self compassion is more about being kind to yourself in moments of suffering or perceived failure. It's acknowledging you're welcome. So, does that distinction between self compassion and forgiveness make sense? Or would you like me to elaborate on either one?
Alhamdulillah.
Great. Glad to hear it. So, what specifically about self compassion or forgiveness are you hoping to explore today? Are you working through something in particular or just wanting to discuss the concepts generally?
Yes, of course. I
Gotcha.
would like to discuss when I make mistake. How do I usually talk to myself? A friend would or with harsh criticism. Kindly explain at least 3 to 5 minutes with examples, researches, and other uh, uh, simple tricks.
All right. That's a really useful question. How we talk to ourselves when we mess up is huge. A lot of people default to
ये क्या
being
है?
way
ये
harsher
लोग
on
बोलते हैं
themselves
ना.
than they would ever be on a friend. And that actually hinders growth versus helping it. So, generally, if you're prone to harsh self criticism, you might be engaging in what researchers call self
ऐसा
attack.
किया है सब.
Things like,
ये धूप
I'm
नहीं
so
करता इधर
stupid
रहता.
for doing that, or I always mess things up. This activates similar brain regions as physical pain and actually puts you into a defensive stress state, which makes it harder to learn from the mistake. Now, a friend, you'd likely offer empathy, understand that everyone slips up, and maybe even offer a bit of humor. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher in self compassion, identifies three components: self kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. This self kindness is that gentle, understanding tone you'd use with a friend. Common humanity acknowledges that mistakes are part of the shared human experience. Everyone makes them. It's not isolating. Mindfulness is simply noticing the mistake without getting swept away by negative emotions.
वालेकुम
Here's a little
अस्सलाम जी
trick.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह सर.
Next time you catch yourself being self critical, try a simple thought replacement. Instead of, I'm so careless, try, okay, that wasn't ideal. What can I learn from this? Or, everyone makes mistakes. What's one small step I can take to do better next time? There's research by Dr. Julian Barbour showing that people who practice self compassion exhibit greater resilience, more optimism, and are less likely to experience depression and anxiety. It's not
वालेकुम
about letting
अस्सलाम जी
yourself off the hook,
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
it's about creating a supportive inner environment so you can actually address the mistake constructively. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course, Maya. Now I would like to ask another thing, which is, do I believe that making mistake is part of being human, or do I see them as signs of failure or weakness? Explain 3 to 5 minutes.
That's a really insightful question, Rashid. It gets to the core of your mindset. A lot of people unconsciously operate under the belief that perfect performance is the standard, and anything short of that is evidence of inadequacy. That belief often stems from early experiences, societal pressure, or internalized expectations. However, growing evidence from psychology and neuroscience suggests that embracing mistakes as integral to learning and growth is far more adaptive. Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset demonstrates that people who believe adallards are, and abibly, excuse me, abilities are developed through dedication and hard work, and therefore mistakes are learning opportunities, are more resilient, motivated, and successful. They're more likely to persevere in the face of setbacks. Think about learning to walk as a child. You didn't just spring up and start walking perfectly. You stumbled, fell, got back up, and repeated the process. No one interpreted those falls as signs of failure. They were seen as necessary steps toward mastery. If you view mistakes as signs of failure or weakness, it likely triggers a fear of making more mistakes. This fear can lead to avoidance, procrastination, or perfectionism, which ironically hinders your potential. When you can reframe mistakes as valuable data, as information about what didn't work and what to try differently, it removes the emotional charge and allows you to approach the situation with curiosity rather than self-judgment. A simple practice is to actively label mistakes as learning opportunities. So rather than saying, I failed at that, you say, I learned X from that experience. This subtle shift in language can have a profound impact on your mindset. Take a moment and think about a recent mistake. Does your immediate reaction lean towards self-criticism, or does a part of you recognize it as a chance to grow?
Thank you, Maya, for your useful insight. Now, I would like to ask another. If we are,
You're very welcome, Rashid. Happy to share.
yes, of
And
course,
go ahead.
if I were to write a letter of forgiveness to myself, what would I say? Explain, please elaborate.
Okay, that's a powerful exercise. Writing a letter of forgiveness to yourself can be deeply healing. It's about acknowledging the pain you've caused yourself, whether through actions, inaction, or simply holding on to self blame, and intentionally releasing it. Here's how you might approach it and what you might include. Start by addressing the letter to yourself as you would a dear friend. Acknowledge the specific situation you're forgiving yourself for. Be specific. Don't just say, I forgive myself for everything. Instead, state it clearly. I forgive myself for being short tempered with my daughter yesterday. Or, I forgive myself for not pursuing that promotion. Then, acknowledge the pain that your actions or inactions caused you or others. Describe the emotions you experienced. Did you feel guilt, shame, regret? Name them. Next, take responsibility without getting lost in self flagellation. Acknowledge your part in what happened, but remember, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's about owning your actions. Something like, I understand that my behavior caused hurt, and I take responsibility for that. Then offer yourself compassion. Recognize that you were doing the best you could at the time, given the circumstances, your knowledge, and your resources. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes and that imperfection is part of being human. Finally, offer yourself forgiveness. Literally write the words, I forgive myself. And then, if it feels right, express a commitment to learning from the experience and moving forward with greater self-awareness and compassion. You might end with a statement of self-love and acceptance. It doesn't have to be poetic, it just needs to be heartfelt. Psychologist Robert Enright, a leading expert in forgiveness, emphasizes that self-forgiveness isn't about excusing harmful behavior. It's about shifting your focus from dwelling on the past to creating a more positive future. It's about regaining your power to move forward. It's often helpful to reread the letter several
Yeah,
times
thank you for now.
and
I
even,
would like to join with another conversation later. Thank you.
oh, All right. Have a good one. I'll be